Have you ever met someone who always seems to get their way, but you can't quite put your finger on how they do it? They don't shout. They don't make big demands. They don't stomp their feet or throw tantrums, but somehow you always end up doing what they want or feeling bad if you don't. You leave conversations feeling confused, guilty, or just plain drained, wondering what just happened. Well, what happened is you just met a quiet manipulator. And here's the thing about them. They might just be the most dangerous kind of manipulator out there. Because they control you not by force, but by a sly kind of influence that's so subtle, it often goes completely unnoticed. They rarely raise their voice, but they can rewire your reality and control your actions with whispers, sighs, and carefully chosen silences. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of these hidden puppet masters. Quiet manipulators are experts in playing on your emotions. They target your empathy, your sense of fairness, your desire to be a good person. They make you feel like you're the one being unreasonable, or cold, or selfish, for even thinking about your own needs. Let's break down some of their most common and most sneaky tactics. First up, the victim role. This is a classic. The quiet manipulator often presents themselves as weak, helpless, or unfairly treated. They'll tell stories of how everyone else has wronged them, or how difficult their life is. They might say things like, "Oh, I'm just not strong enough to do that," or "My nerves are so bad I just can't handle stressful situations." They don't directly ask for help, but they paint such a picture of their suffering that you feel a powerful urge to step in and fix it for them. You feel guilty if you don't. Think about the person who always has a headache right when it's time to help with chores, or the colleague who talks about how overwhelmed they are, then subtly suggests you take on their extra work because you're so much more capable. They're not demanding. They're creating a situation where helping them feels like the only kind and decent thing to do. They turn their weakness into your responsibility. Next, we have passive aggression and the silent treatment. This is where their quiet nature really shines. When a quiet manipulator is unhappy, they won't yell. Instead, they might become distant, sigh loudly, or give one-word answers like fine or whatever. They'll make sure you feel their disapproval, even if they never say it directly. The silent treatment is a powerful weapon for them. Instead of discussing an issue, they withdraw all affection, attention, or conversation. They create a suffocating silence that forces you to try and figure out what's wrong, to apologize, and to bend to their unspoken will. It's a way of saying, "You did something bad and I'm punishing you. But I'm not going to tell you what it is, so you have to guess and squirm." You're left feeling anxious and desperate to make things normal again, often leading you to give in to whatever they silently wanted in the first place. This makes you walk on eggshells, constantly trying to avoid triggering their next cold spell. Then there's guilt tripping. This tactic relies on your sense of obligation and your desire to be a good person. The quiet manipulator will often remind you of favors they've done, sacrifices they've made, or how much they care about you right before they want something. They might say, "After everything I've done for you, I can't believe you won't help me with this small thing." Or, "You know how much I sacrificed for this family. It would just break my heart if you didn't." They frame their request or even their desire for you to change your behavior in a way that makes you feel deeply indebted. The unspoken message is clear. You owe them. And your natural human desire to be loyal, to repay favors, kicks in. They make you feel like a terrible person if you assert your own boundaries or say no. They use your kindness and your conscience against you. Another subtle but damaging tactic is subtle inducement of self-doubt. This isn't always full-blown gaslighting, but it's close. Quiet manipulators will make tiny comments that cause you to second-guess your own memories, perceptions, or emotional reactions. They might say, with a slight frown, "Are you sure that's how it happened?" Or, "You always seem to overreact to little things, don't you?" They don't directly accuse you of being wrong or crazy. Instead, they plant seeds of doubt. They might subtly imply that your memory isn't good or that your emotions are out of control. This slowly erodes your confidence in your own judgment, making you more reliant on their view of reality. You start to question yourself, making you easier to control because you're less likely to trust your gut when they're subtly steering you in their direction. Finally, let's talk about the helper or problem solver persona. This is incredibly insidious. A quiet manipulator might appear to be helping you, but in a way that actually disempowers you or makes you more dependent on them. They might offer to handle a task for you, but then do it in a way that's not quite right, making you grateful but also subtly proving you can't do it as well. Or they might solve a problem for you The solution they offer also benefits them or limits your other options. Imagine someone saying, "Oh, let me just drive you. I know you're always so busy, and this way I can run my errands too." It sounds helpful, but if they then make you wait or choose a route that's convenient for them but inconvenient for you, you're now at their mercy. They've framed it as a kindness, but they've taken away your control and freedom, making you rely on them while making it seem like they're doing you a favor. So why are these quiet manipulators so effective? It's precisely because their methods are hard to spot. They don't create big, obvious conflicts. They operate in the gray areas, disguised as kindness, concern, vulnerability, or even just quiet sadness. This makes you, the target, feel like the bad guy if you even think times about calling them out. You question yourself, am I being too sensitive? Are they really just having a hard time? Maybe I should just give in. This inner conflict is exactly what they want. It keeps you trapped. How do you spot them then? The key is to pay attention to how you feel times when you're around them or after interacting with them. Do you often feel drained, confused, or guilty for reasons you can't quite explain? Do you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells trying to anticipate their mood? Do you find yourself doing things you don't really want to do, but feeling like you have times to? Do you often feel like you owe them something? These are huge red flags. To protect yourself, first, trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Second, set clear boundaries. You don't have to fix their problems or respond to every emotional cue. It's okay to say no, even if they give you the silent treatment or make you feel guilty. Don't rush to fill their silences or fix their manufactured distress. Let them own their own feelings. Third, observe patterns. Is this a one-time thing, or is it a consistent pattern of behavior where you always end up catering to their unstated needs? If it's a pattern, it's manipulation. Quiet manipulators are masters of playing the long game. They chip away at your autonomy slowly, steadily, until you're living in their carefully constructed reality. But once you understand their tactics, once you can name what they're doing, you gain power. You can choose to step out of their game, trust your own mind, and protect your peace. It's not easy, but recognizing the quiet whispers of control is the first most powerful step to breaking free.